Sam, Heughan and Caitriona Balfe put all rumors to rest with a wonderful day of love. Caitriona woke up to the first rays of light shining through the large wooden curtains. The small room in the old house in the middle of the valley was full of poetry. The window looked out onto the sparkling lake, the green fields and the distant mountains. She gently pulled the blanket and stepped out onto the balcony, where the fresh, cool air touched her skin. She smiled slightly when she saw 2 cups of hot coffee on the small table. Sam had prepared it early in the morning. A small card lay beside it, for a beautiful sunny morning, for peaceful moments. She picked up the card, read the words over and over again, her heart filled with warmth. She inhaled fully. Then she poured coffee into the cup and stepped out onto the porch, looking straight towards the hill. Not long after, she saw a familiar figure, Sam walking lightly on the stone path, a bright smile on his lips. She hurried down the porch, running a short distance to meet him. "Hello," Sam said, his voice soft as the wind. He opened his arms. She ran into his, and they held their breaths for a moment, as if the world stood still with love. "Oh, Sam, what a beautiful morning," Caitriona exclaimed. "The sky is blue, cloudless." Sam kissed her hair and pulled her close. "You know, I've been waiting for this moment all week." They sat down at the small wooden table on the porch, sipping coffee and enjoying the soothing sounds of nature. Birds chirped somewhere, the wind rustled through the leaves, old stories and rumors. Over the years, there had been quite a few rumors circulating online and in entertainment magazines, that there was a conflict between them, that they no longer spoke, or that they had even quietly broken up. Sensational headlines like, "Secret conflict between Sam and Caitriona," "Celebrity couple split," once caused a stir in public opinion. But in reality, there were no serious conflicts between them. There were times when the pressure of work, the busy schedules, made them apart, but that did not mean conflict. They always kept their hearts connected, even though they could not see each other often. It was just that the press sometimes exaggerated, baseless rumors spread, and those who loved them were easily swept away by those news streams. This morning, Sam decided that this would be the day he would clear up all misunderstandings, put the rumors to rest with honesty, with their beautiful moments. "Caitriona," Sam said as they stopped at the edge of the blue lake reflecting the clouds and sky, "I want to spend today completely together. No phones, no social networks, just you and me and nature." Caitriona looked at him, her eyes sparkling. "I agree. We will write a beautiful day to prove our love is unwavering." Boat journey. They walked along the path that led down to the lake, where a small wooden boat was moored. It had a green thatched roof, a simple, cozy boat, true to the rustic style they liked. Sam helped Caitriona into the boat, gently supporting her. She smiled and took his hand. He pulled the small roof back, shielding them from the bright sunlight. They sat facing each other, their feet touching the rippling water. He rowed slowly, each ritual gentle, as if their heartbeats were in sync with the waves. The pale white lotus petals floated on the surface of the lake, creating a dreamy scene. Caitriona thought to herself, "If it were a painting, this would be the most beautiful scene I've ever drawn." Sam looked into her eyes, his voice soft. "You know, all these months, when the rumors started to spread, I was worried that we would be misunderstood. But every morning I woke up, I missed you. Every time I heard the rumors, I thought of your smile, and knew that you were real." Caitriona held his hand tightly. "Me too. Despite the rumors, I know my heart belongs to you. Today, let's let the world know. The most beautiful thing between us is not the rumors, but the truth." They were silent together, enjoying every moment, the sound of oars stirring the water, the sound of fish jumping, the sound of wind blowing through the small dome. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting shimmering rays on Caitriona's face. Sam reached out to touch her face, and they smiled, crossing the wooden bridge and the flower garden. When the boat reached the small dock, they stepped onto a wooden bridge that spanned the stream. On both sides of the bridge were wildflowers, purple, yellow, white. The small petals fluttered in the wind. Caitriona picked a purple flower, caressed its smooth petals, and gave it to Sam. He gently placed it on her ear like a small earring. They continued through the colorful flower garden behind the house, which Sam had secretly planted months before. It was the garden of love, roses, jasmine, chrysanthemums, and bud-popping vines. Each flower was a promise, a memory between the two of them. Sam stopped in front of a white rose bush, her favorite flower. He gently picked one for Caitriona, held it up to her eyes, and said, "For you, like the pure love between us." Caitriona was so moved that she was speechless, her eyes filled with tears. She kissed the petals and hugged Sam. "Thank you," she whispered. They sat a wooden chair among the flowers, leaning against each other. Sam told of the beautiful scenes he wanted to dedicate to her, of the songs he listened to and remembered her, of the small moments that only the two of them knew, Yen Yen's eyes in the night, her gentle breath next to her ear, her sleepy smile when she was tired. Caitriona responded with gentle words. She told of her dreams of collaborating with him on a new art project, of the days she missed him when they were apart, of her belief that, even if the drugs came, they would get through it together. A quiet afternoon and a little letter. As the sun rose higher and stronger, they returned to the cottage by the lake. In the living room, Sam had prepared a light meal, toast, fresh fruit, some cheese, and dry wine, pressed wine, for a poetic touch. Caitriona put on some soft music, a soft solo piano, and the sunlight streaming in through the glass windows made the room shimmer. They ate and talked, about work, about future plans, and about endless gossip. Caitriona asked, "Do you read the nasty comments?" Sam shrugged. "Yes, but you know, what makes me strong is you, our love, moments like today." She put her hand on his. "So can you write a line, a little letter to those who doubt us? A heartfelt message?" Sam smiled. "I like writing letters. Can we write together?" They found a small table in front of the window, and Sam took out a thin piece of paper from the wooden box. Caitriona picked up the pen, then hesitated. Sam smiled and wrote the first few lines himself. "When in love, one can hear many rumors, but the most important thing is sincerity and honesty. We, Sam and Caitriona, have never had any serious conflicts. The times we were apart were only because of work schedules, not because of disagreements. Our love does not need the guarantee of rumors, because there were beautiful moments that made the truth." Caitriona continued, "And today, we spend this whole day together, to share, to prove that between us there is respect, love, and patience. No matter what the world says, if our hearts are still directed toward each other, all rumors are just shadows behind." They stopped writing. Sam folded the letter, put it in an envelope embroidered with the name, "To those who love us." They planned to post it on their personal pages, as a gentle but sincere message. Not to attract attention, but to quell the misunderstandings. Sunset by the lake. The afternoon passed in the sound of light breezes and shadows. Sam and Caitriona took their small map and set off to climb the high hill overlooking the lake, where they could watch the sunset. They walked along the winding path, interspersed with old trees and wildflowers. Each step seemed lighter, because they were together. When they reached the top of the hill, they sat on a large rock overlooking the lake and the horizon. The sun slowly set, dyeing the space a golden red. The scene was like a living painting, the lake water reflecting the pink clouds, the shimmering shadows of the trees, and two people sitting side by side, silently sharing the moment. Sam put his arm around Caitriona's shoulders, pressing his head into her hair. She leaned her head against his chest. They were silent, listening to the waves, listening to the wind rustling through the leaves. Time seemed to stop for a moment, then Sam gently pulled out the ship's envelope and handed it to her. "Our letter," he said softly. She opened it and reread the words she had just written. She couldn't contain her emotions, her eyes slightly red. She lifted her gaze to look at him. "I want to say, I'm very proud of us. Not because we're famous, but because we, you and I, know how to value truth over rumors." Sam kissed her lightly on the lips. "We'll post this letter along with pictures from today, the sunset, the lake, your smile, so people know, love isn't about word of mouth, it's about real moments." Caitriona smiled and placed her hand on his cheek. "You always make me feel loved, trusted." Public share. As night fell, they returned to the small house by the lake. Before posting anything, they sat together and looked at the pictures they had taken that day. Sunshine, pictures of them embracing, quiet scenes of nature. Each photo had its own mark, warm eyes, romantic scenes. Sam turned on his laptop, she sat next to him. Together they wrote the caption, "Today, we choose to dedicate ourselves to each other, to erase doubts, to send a sincere message. There is no deep conflict between us." Every vacation, every afternoon, every smile, every handshake, is a testament to our enduring love. Thank you to everyone who believed in us. They chose some beautiful pictures, sunsets, hills, tranquil lakes, them holding hands, hugging, laughing. After some deliberation, Sam pressed post, and Caitriona gently placed her hand on his. In the first few minutes, the post received responses, hearts, words of support, loving comments. Fans sent words of encouragement, saying they believed in Sam and Caitriona's love, that the moment they shared a smile was more real than 1,000 rumors. Sam and Caitriona sat together, silent. Without paying attention to the screen, they looked at each other and smiled. They knew, today they had told the truth with their hearts and images, not with the whispers of rumors. A peaceful night and a promise for the future. The small house by the lake was bathed in warm yellow light. They turned on the radio, choosing a quiet piano piece. Sam invited Caitriona to dance a romantic slow dance in the middle of the living room, their feet lightly stepping on the wooden floor. The lights shone down, their shadows stretched between the streaks of light. When the song ended, "Australia," Caitriona softly, "You know, I feel like the whole world is quiet for just us." Sam smiled, gently said, "And you know, tomorrow, autumn, many days from now, I still want to be with you, to share, to hide, and to write beautiful moments." She looked into his eyes and said, "Me too. Not because we are famous, but because when I am with you, I can be myself, and that is the most wonderful thing." They sat leaning against each other on the armchair, hand in hand. Outside, the crickets chirped, their chirping echoing in the distance. They looked up at the night sky, the stars twinkling. Sam pulled a small box from his pocket, locked it, and opened it. Inside was a thin necklace, with a small stone like a jade. Sam said, his voice deep, "I will wear it as a reminder that every day, every moment, we choose to love each other. And no penny will change that." Caitriona, moved, slipped the vine ring around her neck. She held him close and whispered, "You are mine, and I am yours, not for anything other than the truth in my heart." Quote.